Okay, so welcome back, and now today we're going to start talking about how do we take a fraction and write it as a percent. It's very easy too. So all we have to do is, again, any fraction can be changed into a decimal by division, right? So in the last video we showed you how to go from decimals to percentages. Well, guess what? To go to fractions to decimals, or excuse me, to go from fractions to percentages, then all you have to do is that intermediate step of going to a decimal, right? So you're going to go from fraction to a decimal by doing division, or if you know what the fraction, the decimal equivalent is, right? Like if you get one of those common fractions that you should know, right? So you can go, so basically you're going to go from the fraction to the decimal equivalent, and then you're going to go from the decimal to the percentage based on what we talked about in the last video by multiplying by 100%. So let's do a few. Okay, so for example, 1/2. We should know 1/2 is equal to 0.5. And now if I multiply this by 100, that's going to make it into 50%. Okay? So all I did was multiply this by 100 and add the percent sign. 3/4. Well, 3/4, we should know that that's 0.75. If you don't, just divide. Okay? Divide 3 divided by 4. And then multiply by 100%. Oops. Gives us 75%. Okay? Now, 3/20. Well, maybe you don't know what that is. Okay? So let's divide. So let's 3 divided by 20. So here's our decimal, bring it up and add a 0 because 20 doesn't go into 3, but 20 will go into 30, so that's 1. And so we get 20 here, subtract, we get 10, drop down another one, and then 20 goes into 100 5 times, and then 20 times 5 is 100, and we subtract and we get 0. So 3 divided by 20 is 0.15. Now that we have it as a decimal, now we just multiply by 100% and we get 15%. Now what about this one? This is a mixed number, so we have to change it to, well, there's a couple of ways you could do this. We could change this into a sum, 1 plus 7/20, right? Well, and then multiply each one by 100. Well, what's this? This is 1 times 100. That's going to be 100%. Plus, well, what's 7/20? Well, let's divide. 7 divided by 20. Again, I'm going to raise up the decimal point and put a 0. So 20 goes in the 70 3 times. So this gives us 60. So 70 minus 60 is 10. And we drop the 0. And 20 goes into 0 5 times, and again we get 0, and then we get 0.35. So this part is 0.35, right? So let me put an intermediate step in here. So this is actually going to be 1 plus 0.35, and then 100 times this is 100. 100 times this is 35, and so 100 plus 35 gives me 135%, 135%. Okay? So you could do it that way. Or you could change this to an improper fraction by multiplying, so this would be 27 over 20. And then if you do the division, of 27 divided by 20, well then you're going to get what? You're going to get 1, and then what happens? You're going to subtract 20, and then you get 7, and then you're going to go through the process, and you're going to get 1.35. And then you multiply by 100%. So if you multiply this by 100%, you get 135%. Now, last but not least, 5/16. Okay, so I want to change this to a decimal. I'm going to divide. So I'm going to take 5 divided by 16. So I'm going to add a 0. 16 goes into 5 3 times. Right? 3 times. And so 16 times 3 is 48. And so this is going to give me 2. And I'm going to drop down the 0. 16 goes into well, 1 time. Okay, and then I'm going to multiply and I get 16. And I subtract, I'm going to get 4. So I drop down another 0. So 16 goes in the 40 twice. And so this is going to be 32. And so this is going to give me 8. And then I drop down another 0. Okay, and I keep going. Oops. Oh, what's going on here? Okay, so anyway, let me see if I did this right. Let me just double check. So 5 divided by 16. $32, 48, so 3, 2, 0, 1, 4, 2, 32, 8, 0, yeah, there it is. So this is going to be 80. So this is going to be 4. No, 5. Okay, and so we get 0.3125. Now, change this to a percentage. Well, what are we going to get? We're going to get 31.25% because all you do is multiply by 100 and you add the percent sign. And that's the answer. Have a great day.